The RNC released a new attack ad against Hillary Clinton. Let's watch.
The laws and regulations in effect when I was Secretary of State allowed me to use my email for work. That is undisputed.
No evidence she had requested or received approval to use her personal account for official business.
And you said it was allowed too.
Yes, it was.
Who allowed it?
It was allowed under the rules of the State Department. And again...
So nobody signed off on that?
No.
No one had a full and complete understanding of to the extent.
And provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
The report concluded that she violated the Federal Records Act by not turning over all official emails before she left office.
It was my practice to email government officials on their state or other .gov accounts so that the emails were immediately captured and preserved.
Sending emails from a personal account to other employees is not an appropriate method of preserving emails.
No. You're wrong. And you have to step back and remember, this is her State Department. It's the IG in her department that is making this determination.
So I have mixed feelings on the ad because there was a time when I thought there was absolutely nothing to this email scandal because I honestly was a little ignorant of all the details of it. So at first, I was under the assumption that she had just used her personal email, and the concern was if you use your personal email instead of the government email, well, you're just setting it up so that there could be, hackers from foreign countries, and that's potentially a huge issue. So we should all be angry and we should all be outraged. And oh my God, that's disqualifying her from higher office and she should be in jail. That's what I thought the argument was. It turns out that's not really the argument, and that's not exactly what happened. So it's actually the case that many government officials in high positions have used their personal email as opposed to the government email. And at the time, we didn't think that there was any attempts at hacking or anything like that. So since at the time that was the case, I thought, okay, get over it. It seems like the right was just trying to find something to go, oh, you used the wrong email, and oh, that's so bad. It's like, okay, but did anything happen? No. Okay, so fuck off. She shouldn't have done it, but is it really that big of a deal? No. So that was my original understanding of what happened. It turns out that the bigger issue, as we spoke about recently, was not that she used a private email, because again, a lot of people have done that in high-ranking positions in government. It's that she set up a server in her house, her very own server in her house. You don't do that if you don't have something to hide. Nobody does that. That's not a thing. Like, oh, I'm going to put a server in my house. What the fuck are you talking about? That's ridiculous. And then on top of that, there actually were hacking attempts. There was that guy, again, I forget, Romania, I think he was from, Guccifer? I don't know. It seemed like a fucking made-up name, but this guy did try to do hacking attempts, and apparently he was somewhat successful, and there's recently been a case over that. So, okay, now we're talking about something different. It's not just your private email, it's also a private server and your Secretary of State. And then on top of that, she actually deleted thousands of emails because she says, well, it's okay, I'm going to hand over all my emails except the ones I delete, and the ones I'm deleting, I'm only deleting them because they're personal. I'm not sure you're the one who gets to decide what can and cannot be deleted, especially when you're Secretary of fucking State, and that email you have, it's not personal. It's not private. You're Secretary of State. This is a government position. This isn't the same as picking out Steve in Indianapolis and saying, we're going to go through all your shit. No, that's a private citizen. You're not a private citizen. You're a public servant. You're Secretary of State. Your email is our email. So you don't have the ability to just say, I'm just going to delete all the ones that I don't want people seeing. But that's what she did. So she deleted an email. She turns over the rest of them. She's like, what do you mean? And the whole time she's going, nothing's wrong here. I didn't violate any department rules. There's no problem whatsoever. Well, there was just an internal watchdog report, an independent watchdog in the government, and they said, well, actually, no, you did violate rules. I don't know why you're saying you didn't violate rules. This would not have been signed off by security experts. So what are you talking about? You're just wrong. We covered that story recently. So there is something there, okay? But my feeling on this ad is I don't know if they described it and explained it succinctly enough and in a way where it's going to pierce through and people are going to start to care. I think a lot of people are going to go, this is just like Benghazi because Benghazi was this bullshit mucked up non-scandal where they tried to make it seem like Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama wanted people to die in Benghazi. Like, what are you saying? You're biting off more than you could chew. You could say it was a tragedy, but the idea that there was a stand-down order, totally debunked. It's utter bullshit. So that was bullshit. Then you go through all the 1990s scandals. Vince Foster, Whitewater. Turns out those were thoroughly investigated. That was bullshit. I'm not saying Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are not corrupt. Of course they are corrupt, and we're the first ones to say it because of all the money they take from various corporations and other countries. But those particular scandals happen to be bullshit. The way that they ran this ad and the way they constructed it also makes it seem like it's bullshit. All you have is Hillary Clinton lying, which is something that she does quite often, and that's all they're really resting it on. Like, oh, she said this and she said that. Yeah, but it's so easy to run ads against Trump in the exact same fashion. Oh, okay, Hillary's a liar. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Here's Trump doing the exact same thing. So what are you going to fall back on if they're both liars? Well, that's why I've always been of the opinion when you're talking about politics, perhaps the discussion should be about policy. Now, I get it. She has no credibility, and she is a liar, of course, but so is Donald Trump. So it should be about policy. And I've always said if you're going to run a campaign against Hillary Clinton, you should highlight the fuck out of the Iraq war. Put the numbers on the screen, man. By 2053, it's going to cost $7 trillion. And she has the nerve to lecture people about how you can't have health care and you can't have college because it's too expensive. Well, your fucking war was too expensive. What are you kidding me? $7 trillion and you're going to lecture other people? You're the problem here. You're the one who doesn't care about fiscal responsibility. You're the one who's blowing money on a war where hundreds of thousands of civilians died. Bring that up. Bring up the Patriot Act. Fourth Amendment does not apply anymore. You have no more protection from unreasonable search and seizure because of the Patriot Act and NSA taking all of your metadata and your information. NAFTA, she supported NAFTA. Why the fuck would you not highlight that? Deregulation, she supported deregulation, which led to the Great Recession and the subprime mortgage crisis. Why would you not cover that? Here's the dirty little secret. The RNC agrees with her on every single one of those things. So they supported all those things, so they can't attack her on those things. So what do? I don't know, pivot to the scandals. Okay, well, Benghazi's tired, and that's been debunked 1,000 times. Emails! But the thing is, like, if they covered the email scandal in a way like I just explained, and they made it easy to understand, and they let you know how big of a problem it was, well, then I would think the ad is very effective, and I would think the ad is actually good. And then I haven't even gotten to the main point yet, which is, why is, other than the hacking angle of the email scandal, which is important, I grant you, but what's the bigger point here, and why would they care so much about it? Because, like I said, she's probably hiding something. But what would that thing be? Well, the thing would be, like the International Business Times has highlighted recently, all of the private dealings of the Clinton Foundation. And perhaps you could actually prove quid pro quos in that sense, because she has the email on the private server, and she thought nobody could see them. So, and again, she probably deleted these emails already, but basically the idea is you had Bill Clinton, and we know this part too, you had Bill Clinton go around, and give speeches in foreign countries, and he would get paid a lot of money. And it would go to the Clinton Foundation. Sometimes it would go in their pocket, sometimes it would go to the Clinton Foundation. And then you had Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State getting the marching orders, and okay, so now Saudi Arabia or whatever foreign country paid you X amount of money to give a speech, and then now, okay, look, here you have a weapons deal. I just approved your weapons deal. Now, did you give my husband the $300,000 that you promised him yet? This is why those emails were so important. There could have been proven that there's a quid pro quo where you have people saying, he comes and gives a speech, and I will give him X amount of money, and then you approve our weapons deal, and you give us the fighter jets and the tanks. If you could prove that, that is beyond the bounds of the legalized bribery that we have today, which is pathetic and sad. That's just straight up bribery and corruption. So if you could prove that in court, well, then you're talking about actual jail time. So that's the real concern here. That's the real issue here. But again, what's the counterpoint to this, which is equally as important? You don't think the Republicans would do the same thing given the opportunity? They fucking already do the same thing when it comes to corporations. So they're just as corrupt. So when you have the argument from them about the emails, like, ooh, what is she hiding? This could be serious, and she might be corrupt. Yeah, she might be corrupt. And that allows people like me and my audience to hate her and despise her and have good reason to do so. But you're fucking corrupt too. So you guys are just hypocrites. Clinton's corruption is so bad while our corruption is so great. So let's be so angry about her corruption as we do equal corruption on our side. Well, then you're an idiot, and I don't take you seriously. So again, if they did the email scandal, if they covered it and did an ad that I thought was tough and fair and accurate, I would go, oh, okay, that's a good ad. I just don't think they did it well here. I don't think this is a good ad because in typical Republican fashion, light on the details and just, ooh, scary music. Ooh, she lied about her email. Explain to people why that matters and explain to them why this is super important. The way to really defeat Hillary Clinton and the way that progressives would use in a campaign against her is just to call her out on the policy stuff. But they can't do that because they agree with her on that too.